Hello and welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to another 24/7 news report. Let's get right into things. Everton are in the fight to sign Christian Eriksen on a free transfer this summer, with Manchester United and Tottenham both interested in the Danish midfielder. This comes from Simon Mullock of the Mirror, and this would be a fantastic signing. This would be everything Everton fans have been clamouring out for ever since the departure of James Rodriguez, and it'd be a massive upgrade on James Rodriguez, in my opinion. The creative spark with a good dead ball, a good set piece delivery, someone who can really get the best out of a player like Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And with the rumours that Calvert-Lewin is possibly staying now, having someone like Eriksen to feed the ball into Calvert-Lewin could be really game-changing for not just the club, but for a player like Calvert-Lewin himself, who has shown that when he's given the delivery, he can score goals. So maybe having someone like Eriksen in that position to play the ball to Calvert-Lewin could really, evolve Calvert-Lewin's game even more. 95% of Everton fans have voted yes to Christian Eriksen. It's more surprising that 5% of people actually said no to the possibility of Christian Eriksen. In his 11 games at Brentford, he got 1 goal and 4 assists. But here's where I'm going to be a little stat junkie, and I'm going to throw a few stats at you, and I'll explain why at the end when I've given you the stats. 0.38 assists, 0.35 expected assists, 0.48 non-penalty XG and XA. I'm not really a big XG fan, but it is there for a reason. And 5.08 shot creating actions per 90. Why is that important? These are all stats that derive. I don't think that's a word. That are based on creativity, the ability to create chances for others, the ability to, put the ball for someone else, or even create your own shot. And all of these, Eriksen ranks in the top 1% in Europe, meaning he is at the tip of the top of a lot of these statistics. Yes, that is in a very small sample size, but it also does show that Eriksen does still have the ability to be a successful, bordering even world-class footballer. And I think it'd be some of the best business Everton have pulled off in a long time if we can get this guy in. 6.23 progressive passes is also top 7% in Europe. So all these progressive ball playing, creative stats, Eriksen's towards the top of Europe in. So it's one of those things where maybe it really does show the ambition of the club and the ambition of Frank Lampard if we can get someone like him in and we're not paying him like 200 grand a week, 130, 120 grand a week. I don't think that's bad for a player like Christian Eriksen and a player of his standards, but it's also don't fall into the Everton trap of overpaying for someone with a big name and then it doesn't work out. I don't think Eriksen would be like that because I think Eriksen is a hard worker too, even after everything that has happened to him. But yeah, I'd love to see that and hopefully it's something we can get done. Moving to something that's been a bit more of a negative reception. It's a very Tottenham-based video today. Harry Winks would consider a move to Everton this summer. Tottenham's asking price of 20 million, however, is a likely stumbling block. That comes from Paul Brown. 70% of Everton fans have said no to this deal, and it's quite understandable for a fee of 20 million for Harry Winks, who is a rotational player at Tottenham and who has been a rotational player for a long time. I believe there was some interested in him last summer as well from us. So it seems like he is a player that Everton have been sniffing around for a while now. The thing is about Harry Winks, he's very good at progressing the ball. That's one thing I've noticed when looking through his stats when watching him play. Harry Winks can get the ball up the field, so it kind of does make sense why Frank wants him. His 6.71 progressive passes actually puts him in the top 2% of all of Europe's top leagues, but at the same time, he's playing the ball into players like Harry Kane and Heung-min Son, and his minutes are limited, so it's kind of different to Eriksen, where Eriksen's playing the ball to players like Brian and Buemo and Johan Wissa and Ivan Toney, who are good players, but they know Harry Kane or Heung-min Son. So, his stats may be a bit of an inflation of the quality of player he's playing the ball to, but I would take Harry Winks at Everton for the right price. 20 million is ridiculous. I'd never in a million years. Maybe we could structure it similarly to the Dele Alli deal, where 20 million is the final part that Harry Winks reaches due to add-ons and installments. And well, then if he doesn't hit those add-ons, we don't pay them the money. If we can do something like that, then I would be interested. But unless, I'd stay away from Harry Winks. Everton are interested in another Tottenham Hotspur player, Steven Bergwijn. The Dutch winger wants to leave Tottenham, and a £17 million bid from Ajax has been rejected. This comes from the Daily Mail. And surprisingly, 60% of Everton fans have said yes to Bergwijn. Bergwijn's a talented player, yeah. And I think the game against Leicester showed the real impact he can have. He's a very direct player. Similar to when we were talking about Mavidi, I'm going to keep calling him Mavidi the other day. He's very direct and likes to receive the ball to create chances. You won't see him do the Damari Gray thing often of picking the ball up, dribbling 20 yards and then trying to make something. He will usually be the one receiving the ball from midfield and then playing it. He has got the dribbling ability and the technical ability to do something like what Demarai Gray does. But I think his style of play prefers to receive the ball and then do something with the ball in the final third, something Everton are crying out for, especially if Richarlison leaves, especially if the possibility of Demarai Gray leaving, and especially for the fact that we are desperate for squad depth. I think it's something that, for another one, for the right price, happily would do it, but for what looks like it might be 20, 25 million, I don't know if it's worth it. We'd have to see in the future. But then moving on to another bit of free transfer news. Everton, Roma and West Ham are all interested in signing Jesse Lingard this summer on a free transfer. This comes from 90 mins, so take it with a pinch of salt. But 60% of Everton fans have said yes to this deal. And I think I'm leaning more towards the side of yes, but there is rumours going around that he would want quite a substantial boost on his 75 grand per week wages. And I don't really think the right move for this club is to sign 3 or 4 players on a free and pay them all 90 grand plus, unless we can really shift off some of the wages to give to these players. I don't know the situation in the club when it comes to being able to sell players like Andre Gomez, who are, high earners. So I think it really, stuff like this depends on the wages we can get rid of before we bring them in. But Jesse Lingard's a fantastic player. He's extremely hardworking, something which I think Frank Lampard will instantly appreciate. He averages around 26 pressures and 2.4 tackles per 90, which for an attacking player is through the roof. I believe they were both in like the top 2 or 3% in Europe. It'd really help him winning the ball back in high areas if Frank wants to continue to use that press when they take that heavy touch. And then even he's still contributing over in the goals, 0.37 non-penalty goals. It shows that he does impact the game when he's playing. He's scoring goals when he's playing games, but he hasn't really been given the chance for Man United this season. It really does depend on, like I said, the wages we can get rid of before we bring a player like Jesse in. And I'd much rather take Eriksen than Jesse Lingard. I'd much rather have Tarkowski than I would Lingard. I think Tarkowski's more of a need than Jesse Lingard, even if Jesse Lingard is a better player. But yeah, I think Tarkowski should be the priority. And if this Christian Eriksen rumour has legs, then yeah, Eriksen and Tarkowski should be the focus. And if that means Jesse Lingard's pushed to the back burner and he does sign for a Roma, sign for a West Ham, I don't think it'll be the end of the world for us. Speaking of James Tarkowski, if Everton do complete the transfer of Tarkowski, the free transfer of Tarkowski, they will look to send Jared Branthwaite out on loan, with Lampard believing that Branthwaite needs more first-team game time. That comes from the Mail, and I agree with him 100%. I think Jared needs some first-team football. I think the last chance he had was at Blackburn, and then he got injured. But there's no reason I think Jared Branthwaite couldn't play for a team at the tippy top of the Championship, or even towards the bottom of the Premier League. I think he's definitely got the talent. He's proven it in games for us this season that even though he does have a bit of the mistake in him, he's young. That's naturally going to get ironed out of his game, hopefully by a good manager. And then he will have the room to grow and the room to move forward. And I think a loan is the right plan. Loan him out this season, bringing him into the first team setup next season in and around as a rotational option. I think getting Branthwaite some minutes, getting him a full season of at least high-level Championship football is vital for the club, and I think it'll only do good for Jared's development, to be honest. And now talking about another player leaving, Alan. Lazio are interested in signing him. Maurizio Sarri wants to link up with Alan again, but Alan would have to push for the move to make it happen. 60% of Everton fans said they would sell Alan, and that comes from Tutto Mercato. I don't know. Once again, it's another one where it depends who we could bring in if we got rid of Alan. Alan, he's really good in the tackle. His defensive abilities, we've seen, are through the roof. And his ability to progress the ball from those defensive positions is quite good too. So I think he's a player where he really could do a job for us next season. He didn't play that last stretch under Lampard. To be honest with you, I don't know if it was because he injured or Lampard just didn't think he fit the system. But I think he definitely should make room for a player like Alan next season with his, his ability to protect the back four. I think it'd be a bit of a silly move from Lampard to just keep Alan and not give him a chance. If he's not in Lampard's first team setup, then yeah, I think he should go. I think he's quite a high earner, and if he's just going to be a rotational player, then he really does have to go, in my opinion. But I'd be a fan of keeping Alan around and playing that free in midfield, which hopefully is what Frank's going to do, play that 4-3-3. And I feel like that could be a real point of success for Everton. But anyway, if you did enjoy that video, please make sure to like and subscribe to the Toffee Blues. Follow us on Twitter and follow me on Twitter at Callum Branham 3. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.